All right, welcome everybody to this episode of Prodigy Simply Fit podcast. I am your host, Andrew Hamill, and today I am joined by Lloyd Steere, who's been one of our members most recently for about, 4 or 5 months now. Off and on, he used to be a member of ours, then he lost his way a little bit. We had to send him directions, and then he came back. I'm kidding. Lloyd's a local real estate agent here in Pleasanton, but he is also a Marine vet, as well as does some work with VA rep. So definitely want him to talk a little bit about that. But with that being said, Lloyd has been a pretty consistent member, has figured out how to make fitness an integral part of his life. And so I wanted to bring him on and kind of talk about his journey and give some tips and tricks that he has used to develop that lifestyle. So thank you so much, Lloyd, for joining me. If you don't mind, maybe kind of giving a little background as to who you are, and then, kind of a little bit about your fitness journey.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you, Andrew, for having me on. I really appreciate your time, and I've listened to your podcast now, so I love what you're talking about and how it's motivating the local community. So I appreciate that. As you know, I didn't grow up in this area. I grew up in the Midwest, and then when I joined the Marine Corps, I've literally been traveling the world for the last 30 years of my life, and it's been Hawaii, Maryland, Texas, Arizona. It's been everywhere, including tours when I was in the Marine Corps overseas I was in Desert Shield, Desert Storm way back in the day. So that'll give people an idea how ancient and decrepit I am here. Yeah, I was in the corporate world for 25 years, spent a lot of time in the medical device space. And then I just got to a point in my career where I thought I wanted something a little different, something with a little more control. And I was encouraged by several people I know to pursue real estate, which I had also done actually while I lived in Arizona. So I took the test out here, got certified, and I've been selling now for about 5 years here in Pleasanton, Livermore, and Dublin, the Tri-Valley, and the surrounding areas to help people with their residential purchases. So that's kind of me in a nutshell, where I came from, all that kind of good stuff, and a little quick synopsis. As far as my fitness journey goes, it's kind of an unusual journey, if you will. I didn't do a lot of what I would call working out when I was younger. I played a lot of sports. I was just naturally fit, but wasn't the strongest kid. I also only weighed about 135, 140 pounds. So I wrestled at a very low weight. I was faster than a deer on fire. So I got to do a lot of baseball and things that required speed and agility. And when I joined the Marine Corps, they started to focus a little bit more on building a Marine versus, basically working with what they had. So I gained a bunch of weight and learned a lot of circuit training, similar actually to what you do at Prodigy, it's actually a good fit for me. And then when we went to Desert Storm, one of the corporals that worked for me was a power lifter. And so we started loading up sandbags and putting rebar, and we made our own bench, and we had little rings. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So we had this little workout, and then finally we had some people that got to do some R&R, on a little island called Bahrain. So we all pitched in $100 or $200. Can't remember what it was. There was probably 10 or 15 of us. And when they went down there, they bought basically a gym. So we had free weights and we had all that kind of stuff to work out with. And Sid Roten is actually his name. He's the guy that kind of got me into lifting and getting big and pushing weight and doing strong stuff. And so that kind of I enjoyed that, to be honest. I really like moving weight and feeling the blood pumping through my body. Then I got out, and then, I had my ups and downs, kind of, as you mentioned, right? I kind of wavered away from Prodigy, and I'd land over at 24 Hour and some other gyms, competitive gyms, and I'd kind of do my thing. And it was all on my own, obviously. And so I had my workouts in place, and I enjoyed them, and I did things with them. But when I came back, when those all closed down and we reconnected, I really rediscovered what I like, not only about fitness, but about Prodigy itself and what it offers. And my wife actually made a comment to me the other day, and she said she's been going now to your gym for, I guess, maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
About 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. And so after about a week of working out, and obviously she's sore and kind of, I remember that feeling when I first came back to you as well. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I can see now why you enjoy going there."
Yeah.
And it's all about, not only is it, you and Kaylee and Gina Marie and the rest of your staff there at Prodigy, but it's all the other members that you connect with. And it really doesn't matter if you're going to the 5 a.m., the 6 a.m., the afternoon. There's just really good people that have like-minded work, or they have a like-minded mindset.
Yeah.
And it's all about, right? It's all about community and helping each other and motivating each other in a good, positive way. And Deb said, I totally get why you don't ever want to go back to another gym, that you want to stick with Prodigy. So
yeah,
that's kind of where I am today now, is locked in with what I've got going in there, doing the small group and the large group trainings. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. And yeah, and absolutely. And I think, we often joke that, yeah, people initially come to us because they're looking for a place to work out, or looking a place to invest in their health or whatever, but they really do stay for the community, right? Like it's not us, and it's the community that they're staying for. And we joke around, right? You've dubbed a couple of people, you've given them some nicknames, and you know what I mean? So it's like, it's very much kind of a fun, atmosphere where, yeah, absolutely. Like you're investing in your health, but you're also able to just kind of hang out with people who are like-minded, and just, kind of, shoot the shit for an hour. Right. And then you don't realize that you're like, oh, I'm done. Cool. All right. I can go back and whatever. So talk to me about, especially now, right? So when this is recorded, we're kind of middle of May, COVID, hopefully the pandemic is soon, hopefully over, but more than ever, especially here in our area, the real estate market is absolutely bananas right now. And as a real estate agent, I would assume that more than ever, it's probably hard for you to kind of find time, or to make health and fitness a priority. Like what are some tips and things that you have really kind of planted your flag in, per se, of saying like, hey, this is how I'm going to invest in my health when right now my job is crazy busy?
Yeah, great question. And this is a tip. I mean, it's not just for how I've put fitness into my regime. It's how I've kind of structured what I do every day. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. And the first thing I'll do, and I know this may sound really trivial, once you have your priorities set on what's important to you and what you want to accomplish, whether it's personal, professional, health, religious, whatever goals you have, when you set those preferences in, then it's time to build a calendar around what's important. And I know if you saw my phone or if you saw my laptop, people look at it and they're like, oh my gosh, what the hell is that? And it's because I literally calendar everything. And I always start with what's important. And I learned that, I learned it a long time ago in the corporate world, because we worked off a calendar. And of course, there's meetings and all the other garbage that goes along with the corporate world. But what I realized when I got into real estate is I wasn't focusing on the Pareto principle, right? That 20% of what I do is going to give me 80% of my results. And so when I refocused my effort a couple of years ago to doing that, and I really focused on, okay, here's the 3 things I need to do every day that are going to help me reach my professional goals. And immediately I thought back to, if you've ever been on an airplane, as they're going through their safety pitch, the first thing they say, or one of the first things they say is, hey, in the event of an emergency, oxygen mask will drop from the ceiling. Please put your mask on first before you help others. And I know if you're a parent, that's tough, because you're like, oh no, I'm protecting my kids. Or if you've got elderly parents or whatever it is, those folks that when we have that mindset of trying to help each other, we sometimes forget about making sure that we're the best that we can be in order to be the best for someone else. And so I think when I figured that out in my calendar, I said, okay, I have to create time to be healthy Lloyd. And what does that look like? And what does that mean? And as you know, I mean, I love coming to the gym. It's one of the highlight things that I look for on a daily basis. So it's calendared.
Yeah.
My alarm goes off at 5:30. I brush my teeth, I get in my gym clothes, I come, I get my BCAAs. I'm over there, I'm ready to go. And we start at 6 o'clock, and that time is blocked off from 6 to 7. And then I even actually have other things that are blocked in around 7:30, a little bit of travel times and things like that. But my number one tip for people is, if it's going to be a goal or a priority in your life, you have to create structure around that. And then you have to have the discipline to not vary from that structure. So that's a huge one. And to get to that point of getting a calendar, my second point or my second idea around that would be setting a goal. Now, you and I have sat down when we looked at our goal, or at my particular fitness goals. It's like, okay, what do you want to do? What does it look like in the end? And back in the day, I used to play competitive softball. I used to actually do a lot of lifting. I played a lot of golf. There's a lot of things that I did, athletically speaking, that I was preparing for. So I was doing exercises around those types of things to be better. So I love the fact that when you sit down with yourself and other staff members there, it's about, hey, what are we trying to accomplish right now?
Yeah.
And you and I know are going to sit down again very soon, because my goal of getting back in shape and getting back into the routine, I've hit that. But I put some weight goals in mind and some other things, and I'm not hitting that. So I need to readjust my discipline and talk about, hey, what are my next steps to get to that level? But by having a goal in mind, I've got something to aim for. Yeah. And I think it was Henry Ford. I always get this wrong, but whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And so basically it's kind of the same thing. If you don't have a goal, guess what? You're going to hit it. You're going to hit whatever you're not aiming for just as much as you're going to hit what you are aiming for. Right. So why not put something in place and then have some metrics behind it and say, okay, I'm going to do this baby step my way to success. I'm not going to boil the ocean. I'm not going to lose 30 pounds overnight, but if I can lose 2 pounds this week, great. I can baby step my way into that. Yeah. And then honestly, my last goal, at least and this is my preference, find somebody you want to do it with. Yeah. So as you know, my wife is now back in the gym, and it'll be hard to get her out now that I think she's got back and gets into that routine. But I mean, I'll give a shout out to, Fish Sticks and Warning Track and Jax and, and all the other peeps that are down there, the Rotolo gang, Judy, and the whole group that's down there, right there. It's kind of fun, right? It's almost like you're going to see family every morning. Yeah. And when you don't show up, I know they're talking shit about me. So I'm like, oh, I gotta roll my butt out of bed and go down there, because I know they're going to be chirping. Right. Oh, where's Lloyd? He's taking the day off. So my partner is Prodigy. Yeah. And even though the parts may come in and out, and, some people are here sometimes, some people aren't. And, we're busy, we have lives, and I understand travel and things like that. But it's so fun how we all hold each other accountable in a great way. And I think that's the third factor in really setting yourself up for success, especially from a fitness standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those listening and watching this, like, he's not lying. Like, we literally have people named Fish Sticks and the Warning Track, and I'm just kidding. But also too, like, it really is the idea that, we are holding each other accountable in terms of, like, hey, where were you? Oh, you were feeling good. Great. Well, why weren't you at the gym? Like, and that's what keeps people consistent. And then I wanted to go back to, I love the analogy you said, you're not trying to boil the ocean. And I think that's a big thing for people when they set these goals of, I want to lose 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds. And then that looks so daunting to them. But then as they get started on their journey, when they don't lose 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds in a week, they get so discouraged. And it's like, no, like, focus on the small steps, right? Like, James Clear he wrote the book Atomic Habits, and he's somebody that I follow, and he puts out these weekly emails, and in one of them he had a quote that basically said, have big visions, but small plans, meaning, like, have the big vision, but then break it down in small actionable steps that are going to get to that vision. Because, now, one, you set yourself up for success because now I create smaller like goals that I'm going to hit along the way, which helps build up some momentum and some excitement and continued like, oh, hey, look, I'm continuing to make progress, as opposed to, oh, well, I haven't lost 100 pounds this month, I'm going to quit. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I wish it would, right? If it did, then everybody would be fit. It wouldn't matter, right? So, I'm working on that Oreo diet. So when I come up with that, I'll let you know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. And I think people just want to get to that 1,000th mile right away. And when I look back at when we first met a few months ago, when I came back to Prodigy, I had start setting goals as far as weight was concerned as well. And I don't consider myself fat, but I'm in geographical statistics. When you look at body index and that kind of thing, I can tell you I'm overweight, even though I'm only about 212 pounds at 5'11". But that's a healthy weight for me is more probably around 190, 195 would be more of what the medical community would consider a good average weight and height, right? But when we sat down, it's funny because I looked at that, and at first I was like, I'm not seeing any results from that. Well, one of those things is I was taking fat and turning it into muscle. And of course, muscle weighs more than fat. So I was going with that theory. So, and as I'm going through that though, I also, and it's what I love about the book and the small group training, as I'm going through the book, my workouts repeat about every third week or something along those lines. It comes back. But I go back to that prior workout and I look at what I did for that day. And I was like, and I have little notes in there. Easy workout, good workout, hard workout. This hurt, this didn't hurt, whatever it may be. But now I can go back, like today I was looking back and I thought, and I'm doing hip thrusts. And last time I did, this weight, and this weight for this many reps. So I thought, well, I could do more.
Yeah.
So I did the same weight, but I upped my reps by 4 or 5 or 6 during each set, and realizing that, okay, this isn't necessarily going to translate into a weight loss, but what it is translating into is a body transformation. Yes. So my pants fit better and my shirts fit better and things like that. Right. So, and I feel better. Yeah. So I get the whole dynamic around that. And it's to the point now where, okay, I know I'm strong. I know I'm getting my weights back to where I want to be. Next step is, how do I start incorporating maybe a healthier eating style? Because I'll be honest, probably like a lot of your listeners, man, there's, nothing wrong with a big scoop of vanilla ice cream and some crushed up Oreos in there every night. Yum, yum. And it's okay, right? You can indulge every now and then and do that kind of stuff. You don't have to eliminate everything, but I may have to take it down from 7 bowls a week, maybe down to 2.
Yeah, right. And absolutely,
everything in moderation, right?
Right. Well, that goes back to that, and I'm gonna butcher it, but the 80-20 principle. What's the guy's name? Pareto?
Yeah, Pareto. Alfredo Pareto.
Yeah. So it goes back to that principle, right? Like you focus on the 20% of things, and you're gonna get 80% of the results, right? And so that's kind of where they get the whole idea with nutrition and really ultimately, like, it's about eating better and things like that. But with along that lines, right, like, you should never feel like you're depriving yourself of anything. Like, shoot, like I had a bowl of ice cream with Aubrey last night, like, what I mean? It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, enjoy, right, go and enjoy life, and but in moderation, and understand that ultimately it's going to be a journey, and your goal is going to progress. And I think that kind of that ties into the point you just made earlier, where it's like also looking at all of these like non-scale victories of hey, my clothes are fitting better, my energy levels are higher, right? I'm not as stressed as I used to be, right? I've talked with a ton of our clients who were like, one of the biggest things with COVID, for example, has just been how like just stressed I am with work, and not really being able to get away from anything and unplug. But being at Prodigy, I can feel, or even just going for a walk, I can feel my stress levels going down, and that's so important and powerful for overall health and wellness as well. So really viewing it as those non-scale victories. And ultimately, if your goal is to lose weight, we want you to lose weight, but like you said, I may not, the scale may not move, but I'm changing my body composition. So now my clothes are fitting better, and that's, I'm looking better and I'm feeling better. And that's what's important.
Absolutely. And the other thing to that point is, when I'm in the gym, when I first came there was out the first week, maybe the first 2 weeks. If you haven't been working out in a while, especially circuit training or around the cardio that you incorporate into the workouts, it's a difficult workout.
Yeah.
So there was a few times where I'm pretty gassed. I'm thinking, you know what, I need to pull the plug here for a minute, or my heart's going to just jump out of my chest. I'm going to explode. But the cool thing about it now is, now it's 3 months down the road and it progresses. And I don't, there wasn't a light switch or anything that flicked on or off. But there was the realization that, hey, I'm completing all these workouts. And then even the other day on Wednesday, I was on the large group training. We were going at it and we were halfway through the workout. And I was like, wow, today's pretty easy. I better step up these last 2 sets and incorporate either a heavier weight or a higher level of action with that, or intensity, whatever it may be. And I realized, oh, that's cool. That means that I've been progressing it. Because, I would have never have done that 3 months ago. I'd have been dead on the floor in a puddle of sweat.
Right.
And now I've got that feeling where it's like, oh no, I can handle this. Let's ramp it up a little bit. Let's go to the next level. So I enjoy seeing that in myself as I go through the workouts as well.
Absolutely. No, this is awesome. And I appreciate you hopping on with me, Lloyd, and I want to be respectful of your time. So we'll quickly kind of put a pin in it and wrap it up. So for those who are watching and have enjoyed this conversation, kind of Lloyd's 3 tips were: put it on your calendar, set a goal, and have a buddy, right? Find a buddy, somebody that you enjoy, or find a place that you enjoy going to where you have kind of that camaraderie and that accountability for your fitness. Anything else, Lloyd?
No, I think that's it. I really appreciate you taking the time with me today, Andrew. Love coming to Prodigy. I think I've got my wife. I think I got her turned on, so you can't get rid of me now. You're gonna be stuck with me for a while.
That's all right. You're one that I would enjoy being stuck with, for sure.
Awesome. Well, I certainly appreciate it as well.
Yeah. So hang on real quick. Let me sign off, and then we'll end the call. So thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Prodigy Simply Fit podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Andrew Hamill. As always, if you guys don't mind taking a moment to like and subscribe the podcast, leave us a review, leave any feedback. We definitely appreciate the feedback. If you're watching this video on on YouTube, please do us a favor and like and subscribe to our YouTube page as well. And I will see you all next week. Have a great rest of the day, guys. Bye-bye.